Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Outskirts Overland. It's been a while, guys. I'm back, but it has been a minute. Um, I got a lot was going on. But before I get into all of that, I'm gonna go through the housekeeping stuff. Right now, currently, it is the end of Overland of America event in Oklahoma. But the next event on the calendar coming up is Big Iron Overland Rally. My background is Big Brutus currently is Big Iron Overland Rally, and that is September 27th in West Mineral, Kansas. Then 2 weeks after that is Rendezvous in the Ozarks. So if you guys are interested to get into some events kind of in the early, late summer, early fall time, those are great events. If you guys are looking to get into going on your own trips, traveling and navigating your own trips, I use Onyx Off Road. Lucky enough for me, they also have a discount code that'll save you 20%. It is Global Overland 236. Also, along with going out on your own trips and getting off the grid, WeBoost also has graciously decided to work with the podcast, and you can use the code Outskirts5 to get a discount at WeBoost too. If your emergency contingency plan has something to do with making sure you can maintain some service to contact family members or emergency services, that's definitely something I would recommend looking into. I'd also like to say thanks to Toyota Trucks of Arkansas, as I have a lot of friends over there. That's a Facebook group full of off-road Toyota enthusiasts in the Midwest, and they do a lot of really good things. And I'm very happy to just be friends with those guys. So, if you're the type of person that likes to preserve our public lands and likes Toyotas and likes getting off-road and likes helping the community, and you live in the Midwest, Toyota Trucks of Arkansas is a great place for you. And then some other partners, Kenda Tires, KMC Wheels. They very awesome to me. Rough Country has been great as well. So just some people to look out for if you guys are looking to if you're just looking at products, they're brands of stuff that I use and stuff I like. So anyways, housekeeping out of the way. It's been a while. Yeah. Boondock Haverlock just said it's been a while. I'm going to address that too. Like, I didn't take a break from the podcast because I needed a break from the podcast. I kind of just, life I had a lot of life stuff come up, not bad stuff, good stuff. Just it kind of made me incapable of doing the podcast. The way I want to do it, candidly, like my kids would have been around and I was kind of laid up, which I'll talk about, but like it just wasn't. I wasn't comfortable in the atmosphere I had at my house to be putting a podcast out for you guys. So that all has cleared up as of, I'm finally getting around okay this morning. So I was like, man, I'm gonna put one out. It's a Sunday, but I'm gonna put one out. I'll probably do another one this week too while I try to get back in the swing of things just because I can and I feel so bad I haven't been doing it. For you guys and myself, like I kind of agreed to do this for myself. So anyways, last podcast I did, I discussed how it was my daughter's birthday. The next day was my birthday. September 5th is my middle daughter's birthday. September 6th is my son's birthday. September 12th is my niece's birthday. And September 13th is my sister's birthday. So I've been birthday nuts. And I don't talk about it much, but just as things happen, I am a single dad. My children have mothers though, so I work a custody schedule, and it just so happened I have had my kids every weekend, but this weekend for the last 4 or so. So I've had my kids for a month, which is great, and I love having them, and I wouldn't change that for anything. And to get to spend all their birthdays with them, first days of school with them, all those things is great. It just hasn't, I've been celebrating birthdays and getting ready for school and doing all those things with my kids, and my birthday's in there too. And it just been a lot. I treated myself to after, all three of my kids had birthdays in 2 weeks. I treated myself to a no more kids procedure. So I've been recovering from that. So that's what this week's been. I've been recovering from that. And it's not terrible, but I haven't been comfortable enough sitting down to want to do a podcast. So I just kind of lumped everything together. My truck going down, kids' birthdays, I got that procedure done. And, so that I could go into the season of Big Iron, Rendezvous, Polar Bear Camping Club, I hope. Just getting out with my friends in the winter. I really like winter camping, predominantly like winter camping. So I was like, I just got to get all this stuff done. And now is kind of the time to focus on just getting ahead, so that I can spend the winter and spring and, out. So sometimes you got to do that. I don't live on the road, unfortunately, or I wouldn't have to catch up on so much house stuff, logistical stuff. But that's what I've been doing. So it's just literally been, I've had my kids and then I had, um, you know, sterilizing myself surgery. So, which is good. That's all good things. I mean, there's just recovery associated with it and things you got to do. So, anyways, back to life here. I mentioned in the last podcast, and I think I did it extremely late. I was working on my truck. Um, man, I said my truck was about 80% done. My truck's still probably about 80% done. I'm still waiting on a few things. Like I said in the last one, man, it's so different though. My truck is ridiculously different. Hopefully you guys come out to Big Iron. Also, stickers. I told you guys I'd have stickers. Here's a sticker. I got 100 stickers made. I think probably 15 of them are spoken for already, just with my friends and family. But I'll have these stickers. They'll be free. They'll be on the tailgate of my truck at Big Iron. If I have any left, I'll be giving them out at Rendezvous when I'm there on Saturday too. I don't foresee me having any left. They're matte. They're nice. I spent money so you guys could advertise me with a decent sticker, like it's a good decal. So if you guys are coming to Big Iron to meet me, I'll be somewhere near Benji and Newfound Overland. And these will just be on the bed of my truck or on a table or something. Come by, talk to me. I'll probably be somewhere near them in my truck. But they'll be there to give away. They're free. They're nothing. Your time's worth something to me and you guys listen to me. So if you're around, I appreciate you guys. Take a sticker. No big deal there. I already have you on the friends and family saved list, sir. So there's definitely, you're good. So, come on by, see me, talk to me, chit chat. My truck's going to have a few things on it that you guys might want to look at. There is, I've never been part of a SEMA truck build. And for those of you that understand what that even means, like a SEMA truck build, it's where like a lot of companies come together and help somebody build a truck for a show with like new stuff that's coming out or they're developing and stuff like that. I've never been part of that, nor is my truck that, but I kind of feel like it is. I got so much stuff on there and I'll talk about it all with you guys. I just, worked with these companies and told them that I would, until I'm at Big Iron, I'm not gonna do like it's just sitting here. I mean, everybody else has seen it and it's a lot of people think it's really cool. So it's a lot different though. It's a lot different. The truck's the same color, whatever, but kinda. I mean, I guess hint number one, it's kind of the same color. It's different. So a lot of stuff about my truck changed. So I'll be revealing all that. 2 weeks from now, I'll talk a whole lot about that and the process and what changed and why it changed and how it changed and how stuff's working and what I think about it and a lot of things. There's a freaking lot of new stuff. And I've worked with, some companies directly and then some businesses directly that, are distributors for companies, I guess I would say. And I have a lot to say about all those folks, and I've yet to have a bad experience with anybody. So, I am very proud to say everything that I worked with and is on my truck now is made in the USA or somewhat locally. A lot of it's locally owned, but it's all made in the USA. So I'm actually, To somebody that might not matter, but to me that does matter. So everything I added, I it was made in the USA, and I've actually spoken to people from the company personally, like 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 face not face to face in person, but like I'm talking to you guys face to face if you're watching the stream. So I that man and that matters a lot. And I mean, and that's just something else. As I think about that, I was like, I'm a veteran, and I was going to say that I'm a veteran, but that's something that changed in the last month too. I had a substantial shift in my life as far as kind of my military career is um, concerned. That actually changed the. I mean, that changed my life forever. So something I'd been working on for a very long time came through, a few couple weeks ago. So that's really cool too. It's just been very busy personally. And I haven't felt like I was in a place to I didn't want to just put out crap to you guys. So nonetheless, but I've worked with all these companies. They're all super cool and great. And like, yeah, it's just cool. And I haven't gotten the vibe from anybody that what I'm doing has much to do with the podcast. Um, really. Uh, I'm by no means getting everything for free or doing something, but like there, I feel like I'm getting extra attention. But I don't feel like I'm getting it because of this podcast. And I love the podcast. So, and it has helped me with some things. I mean, I do get inbox emails from companies and people wanting to collaborate with me to their gain. Nothing I got going on is that. Um, at all. So just cool people. And again, like as a veteran, I like that stuff's made in America. That matters to me. I like to know that there's if a and even if it's a veteran owned company, I don't put that above anybody else, but I like to see that stuff. So anyways, trucks changed a lot, like a lot. Very, very, very different. Um, Man, that's going to be a lot to cover, and I think and I don't remember what I've said before, but I'm gonna contradict some things I said before based on the truck, what it is now versus what it was, and the reason it was the way it was before versus now. I think I covered. I have a daily driver now, so my truck is. I mean, it's nothing. It's a toy. It sits in the shop. Like I said, I haven't put any miles on it since last time we talked on the 23rd of August. Zero. Driven it 0 miles. It's in the shop right now. My dad's doing something to it, and I was somewhat concerned it was going to start. Even it's just been sitting for almost a month, but it did, and it's fine. So all is well there. I took it to the gas station once, which for reference is a mile and a half from my house. So I guess I put a mile and a half on it in 25 days. Um, so yeah, it just sits. That changes a lot of things about and this is something I wouldn't have known until now, but that changes how you're building your stuff. If it's what you drive every day or it's not. Um, Definitely changes how you're gonna do things. At least in my mind it did, and it changed. There's some things that I would have loved to done that I can do now because I have a whole nother car to get my family around. So that's awesome. And been fantastic, like just the best thing ever, like for me. But anyways, I just wanted to get on today and talk about like I've been doing a lot of research, and I do this all the time, but I find the podcasts where I just talk, you guys eat it up. Like when I just chit chat about like my thought processes, what I'm thinking about. I brought it up a couple podcasts ago. I'm going to bring it up every podcast until the time comes. Get out in your garage, fire up your diesel heater, make sure everything's working. It's going to get cold, and you want to make sure it works before you need it. So keep running your diesel heaters, put diesel treatment in the gas if they got gas in them, check the fuel filters, all those things, clean out the intakes, make sure your diesel heaters are running, people, because you're going to want them to run and they're going to fail you, and it's not the diesel heater's fault. If you've let this cheap $200, $100 diesel heater sit in your garage for the last year, you're the problem. The diesel heater's not the problem. So fire your diesel heaters up, get them going. be thinking about winter. It's around the freaking corner, so make sure you're checking your sleeping bags. Make sure you're checking your sleeping bags, washing stuff, getting it ready, because the time and season of wet and cold is right around the corner. We had a 40-degree morning here where I live in Missouri the last week. So we haven't had one since. I mean, it's not a regularity, but 40 is diesel heater's getting out in 40 for me now that I have one. But I've been running it every week like it's a dirt bike in the winter kind of thing. Like if I want it to work, I got to keep running it to make sure it's going. And Boondock Haverlock just said he just ran his this afternoon. He said he figured out how to run it off the Blue Eddy. Yeah, the Blue Eddy will run it. I run mine on a Blue Eddy, littler one, but yeah. So I just ran mine the other day too, and I let it run for, I don't know, a couple hours, few hours. I let it run through just because if something was starting to gel, I wanted it to get through. But I also put the diesel 911 in there as well, and all my diesel for that thing, just because it's such a cheap diesel heater, but I find it to be such it is a real game changer. And although I could do it without it, the diesel heater not even providing heat, just getting the moisture out of the air in the mornings in the tent and stuff is just, I mean, that just the moisture control itself makes the diesel heater completely worth it to me, and almost like I'll never go back. So I just want to make sure. I just had to make sure it would rock. So it was no big deal. But yeah, so that first things first, make sure you're doing that, because that's something I've been doing regularly while I haven't been speaking to you guys. But winter's coming, so I've been pulling my setup out, and this is going to be, it's going to be tough to explain, to you guys, but because my setup's changed so much. But I've been pulling my setup out, kind of inventorying stuff, making sure I'm ready for, the wet, the cold, having that spare stuff. Because in the summer, you don't have to make sure you've got spare rain gear, spare blankets, spare, coats and all these different things. And I have said before, and this is something that's a hot topic too, like, how do you pack? I stay packed. So like right now, winter's not here yet, but winter's going to be here before I know it. And given that statement exactly, I want to make sure my truck's packed for winter. So when it is here, there's no stress of forgetting something. I've already spent the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, evenings or weekends, couple nights, going through it to make sure I'm prepared for that season. And I do that every season long before it gets here. I do the same thing in the summer when it's coming to be summer, and I take some of the winter stuff out. Like, I'm not rolling around all summer with my diesel heater in my truck, or a bunch of extra blankets and hand warmers and beanies and shoes and socks, and a little bit of it, but less of it. In the summer, I'm more worried about having extra batteries for fans and different things like that. So lots of power in the summer, because the fridge doesn't work as well when it's hot, or well, it works as well. It eats more power when it's hot. So it's just different stuff for different seasons, depending on the weather. So I've been refining that. Big things I've been thinking about is, of course, diesel heater, rain gear, shoes, socks, pants. I like to have those things. Like I have camping stuff. And just like I have a sleeping bag that's for camping, I have outfits and shoes. Like I have stuff that's for camping. It doesn't get worn to work, or I don't wear it to work or out, or it's camping stuff. So it gets used camping or it doesn't get used. And the only reason I do it that way is I, in my mind, think it's going to preserve the longevity of some of this really expensive technical outdoor gear. I don't want to wear my expensive rain jacket all the time when it's raining to walk from the parking lot into work. And for some reason, whatever, it deteriorates faster because of it. Do I know if that's the case or not? No, but that's my thought. So my camping gear is my camping gear. I have stuff for camping, and that's not everyday stuff. It's my camping stuff, and it's for camping. and it stays in around the truck unless it's getting washed or cleaned, and then it goes back. So, but I've been thinking about a lot of just the camping gear that's going to be needed for the season coming up. I got a new sleeping bag and a Hest pillow. Hest pillow was a big thing. I was like, man, if I ever get rich, I'm getting a Hest pillow. I'm not rich, but I got a Hest pillow. I'll let you guys know. Um, Pretty excited about it. I don't have it yet. It's not gotten here yet, but I'm excited about it. I got a new sleeping bag because the nice guy I am, I go alone most of the time, and I had a double sleeping bag, and I just don't need a double sleeping bag, so I gave it to somebody. Nice guy I am. Anyways, so I got a new single sleeping bag. I'll let you guys know what it is. I'm not even going to look at my email right now, but it's a 15-degree sleeping bag, that Mountain Hardwear brand, that said it was good for people that roll around in their sleep. That's me. So I got that. Again, from REI. I talk about REI all the time. Dude, REI sales are crazy on REI, guys. I wish I would have got on here with Labor Day, because, man, there was some freaking Labor Day sales. Hopefully you guys got a hold of some of those. I did not get my sleeping bag on one of them, but I did get a sale. It was like a brand sale for Mountain Hardwear. I'm a pretty big Mountain Hardwear fan, MSR fan, Outdoor Research fan, Nemo outdoor equipment fan. Those are all universally good brands in my book when you're looking at anything like a sleeping bag. I also get sleeping bags, not because I am always in the tent, right? Like always, but I do backpack and hike and stuff. And if I ever gotten it's dual purpose. My sleeping bag is a light backpacking bag. Because, I just multi-use. I don't do overnights, backpacking anymore, or hiking. But I like the idea that if I did decide to, I have done it before. I have a pack, I have poles, I have sleeping pads, I have all the stuff, that would be needed to do that. That I wouldn't have to buy a different freaking sleeping bag to go do it. So I did it. That was accounted for sure. But yeah, sleeping bag something, because right now I'm not worried about sleeping bag. Heck, it's 90 degrees. I'm more worried about a fan. I'm more worried about staying cool. I'm more worried about shade. You know, all of these things. I'm way more worried about those things than staying cool, or excuse me, staying hot. I got bug sprays on my list right now. You have ticks, bugs, all of the above. It's big right now, still big. But it'll flip quick, and it'll be freezing before you know it, and raining, and just different type 2 fun. So that's what I've been doing really, outside of building the truck, or I'm not even really building it. I'm re-outfitting the truck. Nothing. It's a lot different, but it's not like my truck doesn't have a flatbed or something. Like, it's not nothing like drastic. Looks way different, is way different. Nothing too complicated though. So I've been doing that. I did. I gotta just shut up. I'll talk about it another time. But yeah, so I just been going through, making sure I'm refining all that stuff, making sure it's ready to go. It's all in waterproof. All my electronics I'm paying a lot more attention to, like, my electronics being in waterproof places, so they don't get ruined. Checking all my fuels. This is something that I do. And this is one of those things where I think my friends would be like, if you were an onlooker, you'd be like, Charlie does this. I wouldn't have thought about it. But I carry extra fuel like crazy. When I say fuel, I mean like camp fuel, whether it's propane or anything. I do the same thing with fire starters. Like, I like to make sure that I'm not ever running low, ever. So, like, for instance, if I've got my 10-pound propane tank with me, I've got it and 2 1-pound propane tanks, just cause. So I've recently went through, and that's usually about every 6 months, or if I'm down to the last one. Like, I always have 2 propane tanks. I always try to leave, if I'm leaving for a trip, with the 10-pound full, and I just get it filled up. Now, if I run out, if I've ran out of the full 10 pounds, that's when I'm using the 1 pounds. But if I don't have 2 1 pounds, I'm going to get 2 or 1 or whatever. I do the same with my Jetboil, like extreme redundancy with the Jetboil. I always have 3 of those, and I'm using one, but I have 2 extras. I do the same thing with fire starters. And I mean, I talked about it on this last podcast, this pull start fire starter thing that I used. Dude, sick. It's like so good, but I have 2 of those with me, and I have 4 strands of Blackbeard fire starter too. I have waterproof matches. Like I just go through and inventory stuff on a regular basis when I have a downtime like this. Like I've been down since July 4th from camping. I wrecked my truck. My truck got redone. Now my truck got fixed, like the body of it, the paint of it, the doors, the bedside, the tailgate, like the stuff got fixed. But I got all this other new stuff, but I've been down since July 4th. So, I mean, 2 months, more than 2 months. I haven't done anything. So I've just been going through and making sure, testing, you know, where's my fuel at, cleaning stuff, checking to see if anything's rusted, since it's been so dewy, like going through, checking my silverware, checking my multi-tool, changing batteries and stuff that has batteries, charging stuff that needs charged. You're just doing all that stuff, like making sure I'm just ready to go. So when it's time to go, I don't have to do all those things. Like I definitely prioritize my time. There's always time for me, no matter if I'm camping or not camping, that I'm spending time making sure, you know, I'm always kind of making sure I got enough, my stuff's ready to go, so that when it's time to go, I'm not trying to, Hail Mary, remember everything, I went through and got quart freezer bags and gallon freezer bags, and I put those in my truck. I had a few left. I took whatever was left from last year. Those usually last me a year, a full thing of Ziploc freezer gallons and freezer quarts. I don't like to use Tupperware, so I just put leftovers in those things because then I can just dump them back in a pan because that's what I cook with. But I had a few left from last year. I brought those in the house to use with kids' lunches and different stuff in the house, and got two new bags of those, or 2 new boxes of those, put them out there. Since going with Johnny last time, we made pizza in the what's the thing, Dutch oven. So I've added parchment paper to my inside like food stuff. So I got a roll of parchment paper and put it in the truck as well with a roll of tin foil. So I got 2 things of freezer bags, roll of parchment paper, roll of tin foil. Those are things that people might not be thinking about, but they have the tin foil itself. I mean, I've been in situations where I've lost plates, and I've heated stuff up on tin foil. So I always keep those things just because. And added parchment paper to the list just because we used it to make that pizza, and I could easily take the ingredients for that pizza like every single solitary time. But without parchment paper, that doesn't happen. You will never get the pizza out of that Dutch oven. So parchment paper got added to the list. Not a big deal, but it's in there. That's what I've been doing lately. Just making sure all that stuff's situated, making sure I got all the shower wipes are stocked up. And if they're not stocked up, since it's a downtime, order them. I can wait. I'm not going out tomorrow. I'm not in this time crunch madness where I'm like, I got to figure it out now. Where's it in stock? I got to go. Like, that's the thing I hate the most sometimes, is when people, and my way is, I'm not going to be like this all the time. My way is the best way. Do it when you don't care. Get ready when you don't care, because by the time you're ready to go, you're going chaos mode to get ready the day before or whatever, you're going to forget something. It kind of changes the whole vibe for me, from relaxation being the focus to like stress being the necessity, stress being the necessity to go relax. I am not trying to be doing that. I'm trying to be chilling. Another thing I did, if you have downtime or you haven't went in a while, every week we have lots of temperature fluctuations here. Like I mentioned, it's 90 right now. It'll be 50s in the evening. Once a week, I open my tent up and let it air out. Last thing you want is mold or mildew in your tent. My tent is a 23-0 wedge style aluminum tent. It's freaking super nice. It hasn't had much condensation, just right around the seals, not even on the tent. But I have had other tents and stuff happens. So make sure you open up your tents, airing them out, especially when you're not going. When you're going, they're getting opened up. So when you're not going, make sure you're opening up just to make sure they're. I'd hate to be mold or mildew sleeping and that gross. Anyways, if that becomes a thing, I'd mentioned it before. How you clean your tent if those things happen. But I've been there, so you're not like a bad person. I've been there. I could do a podcast or a video on how to clean your tent of those things and move on with your life. It's not a throwaway situation, especially when you're talking a rooftop tent. This isn't an Ozark Trail tent. Like this is a $2,000 tent. Like ain't nobody throwing nothing away. So there's ways to get around it, but I would not want to be sleeping in it that way at all. Check your mattresses. My mattress was a little wet, actually. I got an anti-condensation mat under my mattress in my rooftop tent, but I just felt a little moist. Maybe it's because it was cold. You know, if you guys, maybe you don't. Maybe this is a Charlie specific thing. But like as I touched the mattress, it wasn't like wet or anything. But I couldn't tell if it was because it was a little chilled or if it was a little wet. Regardless, I took it out, hung it up on like, I don't know, like wood clamps in my garage and let it dry for a day and put it back, and it's not been an issue. I took the anti-condensation mat out and wiped all the aluminum too, because aluminum's going to sweat. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's a lightweight tent, so it doesn't have as much insulation as others. It's a Kabari Light, so it's the lightest Kabari 23-0 makes. So that comes with some structural, like it's just the focus is to be thin and light, not to be uberly insulated. And it's fine, but just things to pay attention to. You don't want to be mold or mildew, on your mattress. The foams that they put in these mattresses will hold moisture. Also prone to mold and mildew. That's camping equipment. That's tents. I mean, if you ever, I think everybody that ever went camping as a kid can smell like what a mildew tent is. Like you could say it and they're like, every time I got a tent out when I was a kid, like that's what that is. That plastic mildew smell from tents being put up because everybody's ready to get out of camping first thing in the morning before anything dries up and then never even addresses their tent again until it's time to go camping, the same weekend next year. Pay attention to it. Don't be the one, So yeah, that's really what's been going on with me. Some life stuff for sure. I plan to be back doing this regularly. I didn't really have any topics today, just big things. It's just I got stickers. Come to Big Iron. I'll have stickers for you. I'll be near Benji. I may or may not have a sign or a flag or something that you guys will be able to identify me with, but maybe that'll just be motivation for you guys to like walk around and meet new people at Big Iron. But if you find Newfound Overland, I'll be not too far from him. So, or he'll know where I'm at and could tell you. And I'm sure he'll have some type of signage. So not that I want to put you guys want free stickers on Benji, but I think he's probably going to be more identifiable just due to signage. I might buy a sign. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I have a couple weeks. I've designed a few. I haven't pulled the trigger on buying any. I just don't know how many of these events I'll go to make it lucrative for me. I just don't know. But anyways, so I hope to see some of you guys there. Those of you that are watching and won't be there, I'm not going to send everybody a freaking sticker. But again, I've mentioned it. I really do appreciate my global listeners as well. If you do not live in the United States and click like period, if you don't live in the United States, you can message me on this video on YouTube, or you can DM me on Instagram, outskirts.overland, and I'll send you a sticker if you're an international listener. If you're not an international, because I just think that's the coolest thing that's ever existed. I mean, that's so cool. Like my sticker in Spain, that'd be tight. So yeah, if you're an international listener, not in the United States, Canada, even, you can DM me. I'll send you a sticker, and I'll give out what's left, at Big Iron, just because I think that's the coolest thing that's ever happened. Um, if you're an American, if you're a U.S. listener, I'll go to other events. This is the same sticker I will have every time to give away. Um, I'll be at some. Hopefully, I'm at something you're at sometime. I might go to Expo East next year. I'll probably go to whatever just happened in Kentucky earlier this spring. I'll go to that next year. More Expo. Again, Big Iron probably, Rito probably. So, like, if any of those are up your alley, if you're somebody that has your own social media and you are in the US and you want to trade, I'll trade you a sticker for a sticker or a patch or whatever. I'm cool with that too. That's your only way you're going to get me to send you one in the US, though, is if it's a trade. Other than the people I've saved them for that are my ride or dies since fifth grade. So, that's just the way it is. So anyways, that's what I got going on. That's what's been going on with me. A lot of stuff going on with me. But should be, I think I'm about back to normal, my normal. And that's that. As next week rolls in, I'm probably going to talk a little bit next week about, I do want to talk about like how to set up for power in the winter. I've talked about power like to a great extent on this podcast over time, but now I'm starting to realize I'm like a lot of episodes in this podcast, not a lot, like 100, but like I'm going to have to hit on some stuff again because people are listening to recent more than going back. So I'm going to need to touch on like batteries are a problem in the winter. And you need to be prepared for that. Because I would say most of us, I'd say, there was a big, big, big push for power stations and dual battery systems like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And they've become so affordable. I think most people have them now, power stations at least. But nonetheless, they don't do well in the cold. None of them. They're a great thing if you can keep them warm enough to be great, or you get them big enough to where they don't need to recharge. So I'll probably talk a little bit about like just cold considerations with power, because like I run my diesel heater on a battery, but like I'll talk about it next week. You don't want to be, your diesel heater's probably outside because of the exhaust, but you probably want to find a way to not have your battery outside, or you're only going to have a diesel heater for one night because your battery's going to fully discharge and not be warm enough to recharge. So think about this stuff, but I'll talk about that. I'll go in depth with it. I've been shopping Amazon. I'm going to go over some Amazon stuff that I have seen recently. That's like some really cool stuff that everybody might know about. They might not. It just became privy to me. I'm going to talk about electric chainsaws. I have an electric chainsaw. In my opinion, it's a winter necessity. It's one of many things that I thought was stupid to have that I would never go camping without now. Just like a diesel heater. I didn't have one of those until last year either. But I'll talk about electric chainsaws. I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of my methodology with electric chainsaws and why I have that methodology. And that goes with all power tools associated with overlanding. So like chainsaw, fan, blower, any number of things. Some people their air compressors are, portable battery powered. Some people's lights are portable, like just insert power tools. But definitely electric chainsaw for sure. So I'll talk about kind of just cold batteries, that kind of stuff I've seen on Amazon that I think is really cool. I don't really need anything, but there's some cool stuff that I think maybe somebody might need. I always just think, what could maybe one of my friends want? Like, would one of my friends think this is useful? And then I just apply that to everybody who listens to the podcast. Like, you guys may also think it's useful. So I just bring it to you guys too. Um, because if it's useful to one person, it's at least useful to one other person. So I think that's always just intelligent to do. Um, so yeah, I'll get into all that, but that's just really, I wanted to get on and just be like, hey guys, I didn't forget you. The podcast is not over. Just really, I mean, some military stuff came through. My kids all had my whole entire family had birthdays in the last 3 weeks. All of them, extended family. Like we all have birthdays like within the same 3 weeks. And then I had a surgery. So that's all. Nothing else changed. I'm still here. I'm still available. My Instagram might seem like it has been dead for 3 weeks. It has. I I mean, I'm a single dad of 3 kids and work and that stuff happens. So it's just what it is. I don't plan for this to be the case over and over and over and over. I'll probably be every week for a hot minute now, but it's just been tough. Um, so hopefully I catch you guys next week. Again, if you're an international listener and you want a sticker, I will mail you a sticker if you DM me on YouTube or Instagram. I want a picture of my sticker on your car wherever you live. I would that's so sick. I'd love that. Everybody else, make it to Rendezvous in the Ozarks or Big Iron, and they're there for your taking. So hope to meet some of you guys there, chit chat with some of you guys there. I am working on something in my truck currently. Well, my dad's working on something in my truck currently. I'm still out of commission for working on my truck at the moment, to where I can probably record at Big Iron potentially. And I would love to get some conversations with you guys in some Instagram lives or shorts or I mean, even we can even stream. I could stream just around the campfire potentially. And I'd love to do that with you guys. So come loaded with some topics to discuss, some things that you agree with me on, some things you don't agree with me on. And I'm more than happy to talk about it. I'd love to talk about it, go over talk about experiences and stuff. I do just sit here and talk to myself for this time I do the podcast. So sometimes I forget stuff that may be valuable to talk about. But when I'm in a setting with a group of people and we're talking about something, sometimes that'll trigger me to be like, oh yeah, this, like, oh yeah, that. I forgot all about that, and that'll get me on talk about something and be like, yeah, I actually had a similar experience or a completely different experience or whatever. So I'm really looking forward to getting to meet some of you guys. I'm really, really hoping Big Iron's my favorite event if a lot of people come, because it's a great place to meet other travelers. It's a great place to meet other overlanders. It's a great place for that. Nobody's rigs are moving. You kind of pick a spot, you stay in that spot, you hang out, you listen to live music. If that's not what happens, it's kind of the same people I've seen the last 4 years, and I know them. But that's still, reunion time is fun. Don't get me wrong. And I love that, but I would really love to meet some of you guys and get into some new conversations with some new people and get to know you guys. So I really would, if you haven't looked into Big Iron Overland Rally and you're anywhere within driving distance to that, you can look it up online. I can't tell you enough. Like I said, the rigs don't move. It's a good place to look at stuff, talk to people, because nobody's doing anything else. Nobody's getting ready to go out. Like, it is the ultimate place to learn from people, talk to people, look at rigs. Because again, everything's staying where it was. There's classes. I just would love to see more people go to it. And if I can have anything to do with more people going to it, like a couple of years ago, I mean, it was really, really, really hot one year. And there was a lot of people there and they left the next day. And the year before that, there was a lot of people there. I mean, the last 3 years, there's been the least amount of people last year in the last 3 years. So I'm really hoping, I am pushing for you guys to go, because when there's a lot of people that go and there's a lot of travelers, new travelers, old travelers, people getting into it, people looking to get into it, people that live on the road full time, seen dozens of full-time on the road YouTubers stop and attend Big Iron. It's a super cool thing to like, if you and your wife are interested in homeschooling, like those, you can talk to these people about that stuff. I just hope that I can be any part of more people getting to this event. And because the groups just aren't it. Meet people in person, be their friend on Facebook, get their phone number, text them, because the groups, man, they're not it anymore. Forums are dead and Facebook groups are toxic. So getting to these events and meeting real people that you could tangibly, like, you could shake their hand or hug them is your best bet at getting positive relationships in this hobby, honestly. So if you're anywhere near Big Iron or Kansas and you're comfortable driving that far and you have the financial, ability to afford it and go, it's not extremely expensive, but you'll see when you look. It's not really extremely expensive at all, for what it is, but go. I mean, whether it's to meet me or anybody else, you will meet some new people. Some of my literal best friends to this day, I met at Big Iron when I went the first time. Period. So that's it. It's a great event for camaraderie. Not a great event for wheeling. Not a great event for, nobody's recovering anybody. You're not going to have any cool stories except about other trips you've been on, because you're not doing anything at Big Iron. But that's a super chill, way to do it too. So anyways, hope to catch you guys next week and have a good Sunday. Let's go Bears. Go Bears. Beat the Texans. I'll talk to you guys later.